Okay, here we got an AudioControl LC 1.1500 rolling my Alpine Type X10 2 ohm convertible. Texans game in the background if you hear that. Just trying to put this into my wife's Mazda CX-5. Got the Bose system in here. If you do a lot of information online, it's going to be difficult, but I have found out, previous MECP certified gentleman myself, that the purple is positive and the pink is negative. Been doing that for years in my Mazdas that I've worked on. Gonna tap into that guy right there, show the finished product later. Rolls all the way around. Gonna throw that 10 in here with 2 Insta crates. Gonna see how that rolls. Gonna try to tap it in an appropriate area where it's a quick disconnect. I really like this part right here. You can see it where it connects right here. I can always buy another one of these. I can't buy anything to the right of the green over here. That's just gonna cost too much money. But this guy right here to here, I can always buy, so I'm probably gonna tap into it right about here in the middle point, just so I can run it through that crack right there. If you can see that crack, run it all the way up. Really like how they have this. My amplifier is gonna be a little bit too big, so I'm gonna have to mount it to the top of the subwoofer box. Might roll 2 10s down the road, but you know, if you got kiddos in here down the road, it's not gonna work too good. But I really like this Mazda, just because I've had it for a couple years for her, traded my Jeep in on it. Just gonna run that power wire all the way through down here. I'll have it shown part later down the road. Take my time. Got that carbon leather that she really loves, so I don't want to hurt it. Gonna continue all the way down here. Gonna roll through here. Definitely gonna vacuum. But as we get through here, you want to make sure, really careful not to cut anything. But if you notice right here, this is the wire boot. I got a CompuStar in my wife's car, so as you can see, there's a little bit of stuff in here. Got a CompuStar DC3 remote start, and I got a ThinkWare front and back dash cam. But I'm gonna run that wire all the way through here. I'll show you how I end up doing it. But this guy right here, I'll show you on the other side of the firewall. I'm gonna drill a hole right here. I don't like to pop through this boot over here just because it doesn't seal properly. Always like, buy yourself some nice grommets, but I'm gonna drill in a hole right here for my grommet. Put that 4-watt gauge right through there. And it'll pop right through. It won't pop in as well as it used to, but as you can see, I'll find a way to get it in there nice. But the idea is she'll never even think about seeing it. She'll never remember. We'll be good. But if you notice, that same dimple is right there. So it's gonna be really easy to get through. And then you just gotta run the power and boom. We'll just pop this off, connect right there. We'll be golden. Okay, as you can see here, I stripped back the wires using my Klein strippers, just something I like to use every time. I'm going purple to match the purple because I know purple's positive. Normally you could go red here. I'm just going purple because it's already there. And then I have now gotten my pink wire, which I know is negative. I'm going black for that one just because I don't have any pink in the garage, but definitely want to go with black so I know the difference here so I don't forget down the road. Purple positive, black negative. And then what I do is I strip that wire and I just peel it back using just a utility knife. We're good to go. I'm gonna solder that bad boy. I just use my Milwaukee solder. Now I'm gonna taper back up. Get a couple zip ties here and there. I'm gonna follow this line right up through here and boom. Okay, as you can see, I plugged it back in. I'm gonna see what it sounds like with both subwoofers playing. I know mine's gonna be way more powerful with the amplifier I have in front of me. I was able to pull the wire through that sheathing. Does not find any weird bends. The factory one is already doing this bend right here. So like I said, that's how it works. That's how it works for factory. As you can see here, there's really nothing we can do. But I noticed that this has the Tessa tape back here. That's that cloth tape, not Tesla, Tessa. So I'm just gonna put a little bit here because I might go back once I know everything works, and I might just Tessa tape the whole thing. And then lo and behold, pop it right through there. It's gonna come down through here. I'll put some split loom on it just to make sure that it's not gonna rub against this metal piece here. Now I'm on to running my power cable and hopefully grounding it because all of the things my amplifier needs to do, it can do on its own on a factory setup. So gonna move on to the next part. Next is gonna come taking these parts right apart here, down here, coming through, and I'll send that through in the next video. Okay, now you can see I started with the power wire going to the amplifier at the back of the car just because I want to make myself have enough play in case I ever switch around everything back here. Everyone will waste that $80, $100 wiring. Came all the way through. All the way through underneath here, back here, this guy. Let me pop this. You can kind of see it down there. Popped it underneath that styrofoam. Made sure it was flat because I want everything to sit flush. I was able to get this guy popped out really easily, as you can see. Nice and loose play. Was able to run it all the way back down here, through the middle portion. I just used the Kicker 4-gauge wire kit. Ran it all the way through here. It tucks right in, as you can see. This is the only part that has to come out, just because I don't want to mess around too much with the wiring. As you can see, it comes all the way through here, underneath, comes back there. I was able to drill a nice, perfect little grommet-sized hole. If you pop this off right here, you can see that's how I hit it. Like everything to look flush as all can be. Got my grommet hole right there with the weatherproofing coming through that portion, because I don't like it to be a little bit too loose or anything like that. But I also like everything weatherproof. You can see that little extra seal on there on the blue at the end. I'll cover all this up when I put everything back away. Just had to use a step drill bit. And then we've got my wires coming through here. It's a little bit hard to see, but all the way back there, my wire comes through the little grommet I drilled. Yeah, gonna just ground this bad boy. I've already tapped the power wire through. Gonna get the fuse on there. You'll see what it looks like at the end. Gonna ground it, and then I just gotta put everything back together. Okay, as you can see, I'm all done, wrapped it up. My Instacrates now have to flip this way for my wife, as you can tell. They're not gonna fit going sideways back to back like those Mazdas do before. As you can see, I had that AudioControl amplifier. I haven't put the cover on just yet. I gotta finish tuning it. Did the wires back there. I'll show you here in a sec, but got them all covered in there with ferrules. I'll show you the back side here in a second. It's got the light on because I have the great turn on. Great to turn on. It's gonna be something that AudioControl offers. If you're wondering, here it is like that. AudioControl, it's based out of Mountain Lake Terrace, north of Seattle, Washington. Like I said, I ran all those wires down through here. I got the base from below underneath there. I'm actually running both subwoofers now for my wife. She's gonna enjoy it, hopefully. But as you can see right here, got my speaker outputs from the amplifier running to the box. I haven't finished OCD finishing that up yet. I gotta probably another 2 hours of figuring out what ABS I want to run, all that stuff. Here's my speaker tap wires. Tapped them into the amplifier. This is what comes out of the amplifier. Got my ground once again, got my power. Got to get my ferrule caps for those. Got to order the larger tool. Forgot it was at my shop that I used to work at. I thought I had my own copy. I don't. I was able to ferrule cap these and those. They run underneath through here is where the best place to go. There's all that styrofoam underneath. And everything's gonna be good for the heat shrink. Got my cover, the Mazda cover. Actually ended up going with an Amazon one a while back. Just save the money. No need to waste it. And it comes all the way through underneath like we talked about. Finishes that bad boy up. Put all that cover piece back in. Then we gotta finish through, close it all up. Got everything back together. See, very minimal visualization of the power wire underneath there, as you can tell. Got it running through here with all the other stuff I put on her car. So now I've got a subwoofer with an amplifier, aftermarket with a DC3 CompuStar remote starter. Along with that, I've also got the ThinkWare dash cam, front and rear. Never can be too careful. And then how I ended up finishing it all up was just fuse right up here. See, this goes straight to the battery. Ends up cranking it right into there. Just took a 10mm. Had something from Snap-on that I've had for a long time ago, and then just runs all the way through there. This weather protectant's right here for more like heat resistance, if that makes sense. I'm not too worried about the weather up here where we live, but yeah, not too shabby. 10 out of 10, not too rough. If you do not have AudioControl, you'll have to do some sort of wire tapping from the same position, and you'll have to get some sort of power turn on. That's usually from a cigarette lighter, but yeah. Okay, so here are all the tools I utilized today. Some of these were necessary, some of them were not. These were my panel removers. This is called a bowing tool. In my old shop we called it that, just a panel remover, but it's metal. This is plastic. Used a grommet. Most of the time the power adapter kits, all that stuff comes with grommets. I just have my own size ones that I've gotten from Amazon over the time or anything like that. And then I've got ferrules. These are not necessary. These are help hook you up into the amplifiers, a little bit more control. They square it up when you plug them in. This is your squisher, as I call it. This is the ferrule tool. You squish them on, they'll stick on there forever. Fingers crossed. Had an Allen wrench. I just used my little ones from Amazon. This guy's from Snap-on. It's just a kind of a 45-degree angle, whatever bit you need to put on it. My various screwdrivers I used, cutters, wire stripper. This is how I got everything through the firewall. I have a hole punch. You just punch it right through, hit it on the metal, you're good. We got a step drill bit, a lot more precise. Take it one turn at a time. Just put it in one of these guys right here. Take your time. I took about to 11/16 to get the grommet in there. And then here we have steel wool on a bit, essentially. This is good for scratching off any paint. It allows you to ground things a little bit easier. Speaking of which, used a drill to ground things, to use a Phillips head driver to do so. Then we had, this is how I tapped my speaker wires. I utilized the wire strippers along with a utility knife to cut back the sheathing. Then I stripped the wires and I soldered them directly on, so any movement were good. Used tape to cover any electrical openings, any exposed wire. Then here's that Tessa tape again. It can be a little expensive. It's usually $80 for a pack of 10. I bought it when it was on sale a long time ago. Had a little bit left over from the shop that I used to work at before. Now I teach, so I like to use it. It's not really necessary, and that's just my solder iron right there. Did you notice I used Milwaukee? Just use all those same batteries. Everything works out great. But yeah, these were all the necessary tools I used to be able to solder everything like that. This was really the only unnecessary tool I needed, was my ferrule. Good old crimpers. But yeah, not too shabby. Might have to jump on Amazon, spend a little bit of money, but over time you accrue and accrue and accrue. Makes life easier to work on the Mazda CX-5. My wife's was a 2021. It wasn't too rough. Worked on quite a few of them. Still work on hers from home. But yeah, best of luck, I hope. Here's a whole image of it all that is completely necessary, and everything else to the left was unnecessary. Good luck.